2024 candidate for President of the United States, Robert Kennedy Jr., is not Democrat or Republican, but he's for we, the people.
I think Americans deserve a choice, more of a choice than just the lesser of two evils.
Either the elected officials don't know or don't care to know that there is a conflict of interest between big business and the government agencies funded by the taxpayer dollars that are not protecting us.
Of course, inflation is affecting everything, and we know what the inflation comes from. It comes from spending $8 trillion that we didn't have on wars for the past 20 years. And now they're printing the money to pay for the wars, to pay $16 trillion for the lockdowns. So they do a stealth tax, which is called inflation. But homes are going up faster than inflation, much faster. But why is it? It's because three giant corporations, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, have now, and one of their subsidiaries, Blackstone, which is co-owned by BlackRock and State Street, those three companies own 88% of the S&P 500. So they own the business of America. And they've now decided that they want to own the farmland and the residential housing, including the single-family homes. When Mitch McConnell asked that month, March of 2022, can we really afford to send $113 billion to Ukraine? He said, don't worry, because it's not really going to Ukraine. It's going to U.S. military contractors. The General Dynamics, to Raytheon, to Boeing and Lockheed. So it's really just coming back for us. He acknowledged that it was a money laundering scheme for the military-industrial complex. And my 40 years, as an advocate, public health, environmental advocate, we need to end this corrupt merger of state and corporate power. So like I said, they're doing it right in front of us. The CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, is on the board of the World Economic Forum. They gather, as you know, in Davos, what they call the Billionaires Boys Club, gathers in Davos once a year to plan what the world will look like for the rest of humanity.
Like no other candidate, Robert Kennedy Jr. has over 35 years' experience boldly spotting the conflicts between big business and government agencies.
When I sued Monsanto, in the discovery process, we uncovered emails between the director of the pesticide division at EPA, a man named Jess Rowland. I always like to repeat his name because I don't think he should sleep easy. And the heads of Monsanto. And it turns out we were paying him for all these decades, but he was actually secretly working for Monsanto, and they were telling him, you got to kill this study, you got to falsify science here. They were doing everything they could because they knew that Roundup could cause cancer, and they were just trying to keep that science off the books.
Robert Kennedy Jr. is not afraid to take action.
I know how to unravel what's happening on Capitol Hill. How can I say that? I've spent 40 years suing the corporations that now own our government, and EPA more times than I can count, NIH, CDC, FDA. When you sue these agencies, you get a PhD in how to unravel the corruption. It makes you understand, how did this happen? Why are these people acting the way they're doing? The opposite of what they're supposed to be doing.
Do you want the cost of living to decrease? Robert Kennedy Jr. knows what the true sources of the problems are.
Another $15 billion at the Medicare cut. That same month, we printed $300 billion to bail out the Silicon Valley Bank, and we topped off Ukraine at $113 billion. But we have money, plenty of money for the big shots who need their bank bailouts, and for any war that comes along. The average income in America today is $5,000 less than the cost of basic transportation, and housing. That means if you get the bare minimum of food, transportation, housing, the average American is $5,000 in debt at the end of the year. And what are they doing? How are they handling that $5,000 deficit? Well, they're putting it on their credit cards. They're paying 22% interest on that debt. Oh, if the mafia did that, it would be called loan sharking and they'd go to prison. If Visa, MasterCard, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Chase, Morgan, if they do that, it's just business as usual. And who do you think owns all of those businesses? Every one of them. BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard.
Guns, abortion, LGBTQ, and the futile, unproductive bickerings between the Democratic and the Republican parties. Meanwhile, mega corporations are pricing us out of our lives.
We should start talking about the issues that concern Americans: the chronic disease epidemic, the destruction of our soils, the forever wars. We're talking about the issues that the major political candidates are not talking about. The fact that we have a $34 trillion debt. In the last 100 days, the debt has gone up by another $1 trillion. That's unsustainable. We're already spending the equivalent to our entire defense budget just on servicing that debt, just on paying the interest of that debt. Within 5 years, half of every tax dollar collected will go towards servicing the debt, and within 10 years, it could be every tax dollar collected, and nobody's talking about this.
He is an out-of-the-box thinker that acknowledges natural health and alternative healing.
About alternative care for medical and health issues, being able to go to a doctor when you really need to go to a doctor and feeling that you can trust them to do what you want done instead of what their system says to be done. And along with that, getting insurance companies and Medicare to pay for alternate care. So my
It's not just that it's not covered. There's an active war on natural health. And I know I can change that.
Robert Kennedy Jr. has spent his career in the private sector exposing corruption and fighting for the truth. And now he fearlessly intends to do this as President of the United States.
There's a lot of things I'm going to do during the first 3 months, but the major thing that I'm going to do is just be rigorous about telling the truth to the American people about everything, and having the agencies tell the truth to the American people, because the division in this country, I believe the real key to the division is that we're being lied to.
I'm now going to do a mass experiment on the American public, which is an experiment in truth-telling. I'm going to be honest with myself, honest about the problems in this country, honest about the challenges. And if there's an appetite for that, I'll win.
I have an appetite for honesty, as the truth is freeing. Hopefully you found this amateur video informative. One thing cancer taught me is that you have to physically be a part of your own solution. Faith without works is dead. Kennedy is not a savior. He's a mortal man that requires a collective effort. He's doing the hard part, fearlessly, publicly, standing 10 toes down to be a willing vessel for good. If we can see this unique opportunity to elect a president that is so forthcoming, revealing so much, we can do the easy part by spreading the news that Robert Kennedy Jr. is running for president in 2024 and about the new political party called We the People. Find one of his petitions and sign it.
I said in my announcement speech that if you give me a sword and some ground to stand on, I'll take your country back for you. But I need your help.
We're on the brink of a new dawn. This is not a two-party race. I volunteered to collect signatures for Robert Kennedy Jr. to appear on the 2024 presidential ballot. Here's a quick and easy strategy. Solicit signatures from friends, family, neighbor, associates. Every little bit counts. Imagine the easy impact if hundreds of people collected signatures this way. Don't know enough? Visit Robert S. Kennedy on YouTube or find other videos there. Share this video or watch the full videos of the ones referenced. For more information, go to Kennedy24.com.